Reddit, what were the best comebacks you've ever heard? I was with friends in a movie theater and while I forgot what the movie was, it was apparent we were the oldest people watching the movie. While waiting for the previews to start, someone in the back makes a noise. Then someone repeats the noise. Then two more. And so on. I said out loud, "Geez, this is getting old." When it all died down, a younger couple rows behind me said, "So are you." Touche. You little shitty. My grandfather used a handicap placard because of a heart condition. Outwardly he looked very healthy. One woman saw him get out of his car at the grocery store and told him, "You don't look handicapped." He told her, "You don't look like an asshole." My best friend got into a shouting match with his mother. After a while, she unloaded on him with, "Insert friend's name here. You little son of a bitch." His reply was, "That's what I've been saying for the last half hour." My mom made cupcakes one day, and they collapsed in the center for whatever reason. My husband at the time looked at them and told my mom they look like assholes, and she replied, "I was thinking of you when I made them." Easily the most witty and quickest comeback I've ever heard from her. The story of how my grandparents went on their first date has the greatest comeback ever. My grandpa was working a sub shop at the register. My grandma was in line. They've kind of met a few times in passing before, and she gets up to the register and my grandfather, attempting to hit on her, says, "How do you get through life looking so ugly?" And my grandma replies, "I don't know, but you've been doing it longer than I have." And they've been happily married ever since. Edit. I hate to disappoint you all, but they did not get married on the spot in the sub shop. Female friend. I'll just meet a doctor and become a trophy wife. Male friend. I work at a bar and these two older ladies were talking to each other. Lady 1. Nobody really likes you. Lady 2. Go suck another $5 dick before you end up homeless again. I don't even bother to pretend that I'm not listening to the conversations around me. This one got a big laugh out of me. Reply by a kindergartner to a pair of 5th graders who tried to tell him Santa isn't real. Santa brings me presents. And if Santa doesn't bring you presents, you should think about why. David Letterman. You know, I'm not as dumb as I look. Tina Fey. Yeah. But how could you be? My cousin was in town for Thanksgiving. He goes up to my 10-year-old skinny nephew and jokes, "Hey, it looks like you are gaining weight." My 10-year-old cousin, without skipping a beat, tells him, "Hey, it looks like you have diabetes." My cousin is 300 plus pounds. He hasn't been back to visit since. Line delivered by me. Dad was boasting about his looks at 65. The nurses said I looked very good for my age. Me. You were there for a colonoscopy. Are you sure they were looking at your face? Edit. Guy in my class in high school who was a total creep thought it would be funny to grab his dick and say to a group of girls, "Did anyone order an extra large?" One of the girls responded immediately with, "We did." I teach 16-20-year-olds and one of my students kept insulting a girl. She turned around and with a completely straight face she said, "If you're not careful, I'll FCK your dad and become your stepmom." It was unexpected. I was a waitress, and this group had one too many to drink. This guy was incessantly hitting on me, so I politely told him I had a boyfriend. And he started to ask me things about my boyfriend. Does he pays for dinner? Does he takes care of you? And that kind of drunk attempt to diminish him. After a few minutes of me ignoring him, he asked about my boyfriend's genitals. That's when I lost my cool. "What's the matter with you? Why are you so obsessed about my BF? I already told you he's taken." His friends started to roast the dude badly. They left me a good tip. My ex-GF met my new GF. Oh. Did you know? I used to go out with Kwajap. Yes. He mentioned you. Once. From Mad Men. Michael Ginsberg. I feel bad for you. Don Draper. Once I was at dinner with my friend and his girlfriend who is from India. She used the phrase shut your ears instead of don't listen or something like that. Her boyfriend proceeded to mock her because he was in a pissy mood. In a shitty voice. He said, "Wow, so shut your ears, what kind of grammar is that?" She said really loudly for everyone at our table and the next table to hear. How about shut your f***ing mouth? Is that correct enough grammar for you? I laughed. Secret Santa gift exchange in college. One guy gets a collection of British currency. He liked to collect foreign bills and coins, and a girl makes a rude comment about it being a stupid gift. Cue my mouth running off before my brain can stop it. Karen, don't be rude. He just didn't want you to be the only one who gained 20 pounds this semester. Pandemonium ensued as her boyfriend tried to pick a fight while she bursts into tears. It was not the best day for the club. How to make a best friend for life. It was 2001 when I was in 5th grade. My dad did my ponytails in the morning and they were not cute. As I was walking away from my classmates, I overheard my bully laughing and saying her hair is messed up in the back, and the new girl in school shouted back to her, "Well, your face is messed up in the front." God, that was awesome. I'll never forget that as long as I live, and we're still friends to this day. Edit holy shit. My first silver. It's an honor. I'm having the worst day and this really made me smile. Thank you. I wanted to give an update on my bully. We later became friends. Turns out, she had her own stuff going on at home and that's why she was horrible to me for all of those years. It was my dad who told me to invite her to my birthday party and talk to her outside of school. My dad rocks. He was so right. Many years ago when I was 12. I got into an argument with my mother and father. Semicolon. Exasperated. My mother said, "You talk like you think your father and I don't have a brain between us." Semicolon. I immediately said, "No. I do think you have a brain between you." Semicolon. My father burst out laughing. End of argument. Coworker made comment about performing a sexual act on my mother. I inform him that my mom is deceased. His reply, "I know. It was a lot of digging." Once watched a row in school between two girls. After a few minutes of insults, this is said. Girl 1. Would you wear socks if you had no feet? Girl 2. Confused. What? Girl 1. Slowly. Would you wear socks if you had no feet? Girl 2. Still confused. No. Girl 1. Why do you wear a bra then? Row over. Back in teenagedom, arguing with my mum about chores. Mum. You think I should wipe your ass for you too? Full stop. Me. Beats doing it myself. Mum. Wipes my face. We both laughed so hard we forgot about the argument. Someone was trashing on a user here on Reddit while using awful punctuation. Reply goes, "You missed so many periods that I'm sure you're pregnant." If your parents get a divorce, will they still be brother and sister? Edit. My first shiny coin. Thank you, mystery man woman other. My wife and I were cuddling and having a little intimate time. She's about 8 shorter than me and she was lamenting that fact, and I say, "Yeah. You're only about 4 from perfect." Without missing a beat, she snuggles in closer and says, "You are too, my love." It took me a second to pick that up, at which point I rolled over and proceeded to die a little on the inside. Lol. 8 years on and we're still 4 from perfect for each other. Edit. Thank you for the silver. Kind stranger. I'm so happy you all appreciated that. I should have added that she then cackled so hard she needed a hit on her inhaler to breathe normally again. Random kid. I bet you can't see your penis in the shower, my friend. Nope. We weren't listening to a friend and he yelled at us and said, "FCK, it's like I'm talking to myself over here." My mate instantly replied, "Maybe if you were talking to yourself you'd realize what a dumb CNT you sound like." My old roommate's wife was a waitress. She's serving a table one night of middle-aged businessmen who have been drinking. They are mostly polite. But one dude is starting to get pretty drunk and really forward with his comments. He tells her, "I really want you to sit on my face." Without missing a beat. She replies, "Because your nose is bigger than your dick." The rest of the table went nuts. The dude turned bright red and left her alone. Although she later admitted he wasn't being that rude. Just got too comfortable. Edit. Spelling. I was adopted at 4 months old. It was never presented in a bad light, just a matter of fact. I'm the oldest in my adopted family. My younger brother in a raging fit over something. You're not my real brother. Me. Yep. Mom and dad chose me. They were stuck with you. Silence. FCK off, mate, your nan gets bullied at bingo. Aussie cricketer Glenn McGrath was getting frustrated with Zimbabwean batsman Edo Brandis during a game. "Hey Edo. Why are you such a fat bastard?" "Well Glenn. Every time I FCK your wife she gives me a biscuit." Play stopped for a bit while everyone fell about laughing. I think my favorite was being called a spherical dumbus because no matter how you looked at it, I was a dumbus. Some group of college freshmen filled a condom with water and tried to drop it on my head. Missed. I snuck up on them and started tea with them. Most were apologetic. But one of the girls gave me attitude and said it wasn't used or anything. I said of course it isn't. Look at you. I was pissed at the time. But I've actually felt terrible about it ever since. He wasn't even ugly. But I could tell it made her feel bad. In any case, it was my best work. I once jokingly said to my wife, "You know you should consider yourself lucky really, as I'm quite fussy about my women." Without skipping a beat she shot back, "Well you're just lucky that I'm not fussy about my men." Burned. Partner is Aussie. We are going to visit his parents in Perth and his dad made a joke saying he was going to put cocaine in my bag to get me in trouble. My reply: "Didn't know being a criminal was still a requirement to get in. Been living off that for days." Back in high school. Bitchy girl. "You better not hit me. My friend." "Don't worry. I hate animal abuse." Cue hysteria. Stephen Hawking and John Oliver. Oliver posed a question. "You've stated that you believe there could be an infinite number of parallel universes. Does that mean that there is a universe out there where I am smarter than you?" "Yes." Hawking replied. "And also a universe where you're funny." Friend was going through a nasty breakup with a cheating girlfriend. In the heat of their final argument, she made it a point to let him know that her ex's dick was way bigger than his. He replied, "Yeah." I wasn't present, but my friend told me this story. This is potentially very offensive, but I should make perfectly clear that every party involved in this exchange took it in the good humor that it was meant as. My white friend is in a racially diverse friendship circle, in which the majority are black. Those guys frequently engage in racially charged banter with each other. The non-black members generally don't join in, and are always left feeling awkward when it happens. One day, one of his black friends entered the room, saw that only my friend and a bunch of other white friends were present. He then said in a joking manner, "What up, Mayanas?" "Oh no, wait. You can't say that. Can you?" One of the white friends rounded on him and said, "Maybe not. But there are plenty of things we can say. Like also thanks for the warning, officer." And also he. Dad. Apostrophe. His black friend apparently roared with laughter. "I may be drunk, miss, but in the morning I will be sober and you will still be ugly. If you were my husband, I'd poison your tea." Osa Lady Astor. "Madam, if you were my wife I would drink it." Osa Churchill. Fox 5 host. "Don't you think you went a little too far with the Catholic Church jokes?" Bill Burr. "Don't you think the Catholic Church went a little too far?" "How's your wife and my kids?" "Wife's fine. Kids are retro dead." I am a nurse and I was trying to gauge a confused patient's orientation status. When I asked him what type of building we're in, a hospital, he politely responded a multi-story one. Well, he was definitely not wrong. Your birth certificate is an apology letter from the abortion clinic. I lost my shti. Edit. Thanks for the silver. Recent. Friend of mine said he and his wife are expecting. I told him to name it after me. He replies with, I would. But F King Retardy doesn't work with our last name. Ha ha oh. I'm friends with this guy that has a large nose. It's not bad looking. It actually suits him quite well. But I'll poke fun at him for it sometimes. Anyways. One day we were roasting each other. So I hit him with your nose is bigger than Kim Kardashian's ass. He came back with you have bigger tits than your mother. I'm a guy. I shut up after that. Bald guy to fat guy. Look at the state of you. Fat guy to bald guy. FCK off. Standing in line for the cafeteria in high school. Two middle schoolers arguing in front of me. One little smartass hits the other with I bet you don't even know how many chromosomes you have. The other doesn't even blink before shouting back more than you. Instantly lost my shti. Definitely not the smartest comeback. But easily the funniest I've heard. Not me but a story about my uncle's childhood when he was in the 4-6 age range. It went something like this. Dad. When do you think you are going to start behaving, young man? Son, my uncle. Crying College party. Dude pulled his dick out and plopped in a girl's shoulder. He asked her what it looked like and she replied it looks like a penis only smaller. Student to teacher. I have X IQ. Teacher. Nonplussed. And that's how you choose to use it? A self-righteous 25 plus guy proudly said I am a virgin. Someone said I know a place where you can fix this for small amount of money. Another one from school. We were 19. One guy boasted I lost my virginity at 13. Someone said yeah that PT teacher was a pedophile. This one on Jimmy Kimmel. Actor Kumail Nanjiani, he is of Pakistani origin, reads a tweet. Is Kumail Nanjiani's dick multiple colors? Asterisk. His reply. Yes. Every shade of your mom's lipstick. Totally wrecked. Was getting my hair cut and this mother and her 4 kids come in. Immediately I felt bad for the mother because one of the young boys was running around like he just drank 2 Red Bulls. At one point the mother snapped after telling him to behave 4 or 5 times and threatened to take away his PS3. The entire place went silent because she yelled it and you could tell she was already embarrassed. What came out of her son's mouth was to this day the funniest shit I've ever heard. He yelled if you take away my PlayStation I'm going to tell grandma that daddy puts his pee-pee in your mouth. The mother didn't even respond, she just grabbed her kids and left the salon. Everyone burst into hysterics afterwards. Edit. Had wrong person putting said objects in mouth. Don't remember where I saw it but one dude used to date the other dude's wife. He was trying to be an asshole and said how's that used PSSY feel? Married dude didn't even react. Just said after the first 2 inches. Brand new. You look like a boneless ham. I don't come down to your work and knock the sailors' cocks out of your mouth. A friend of mine would respond to people who rudely say excuse me with there is no excuse for you. In 2017, I was doing some shopping on Black Friday at Target. I'm looking at some toys for my nephew when this woman bumps into my cart. Semicolon. She looks up from her phone, glares at me, and says watch where you're going. Semicolon. Guy who saw the whole thing. She wasn't even moving you f-king bitch. Semicolon. I'm not normally confrontational. And I don't like it when men call women bitches. But I gave that guy the biggest smile ever. Bitch paled and booked it out of there. There's this new show on Netflix called The Fix. Jimmy Carr, the host, asks the other comedians how they'd like to die. After all their answers he says he'd like to die by drowning in PSSY. Catherine Ryan, one of the mainstay comedians, responds by saying, well, first you have to get it wet. My mom. When I was your age, I refused to date any boy whose hair was shorter than mine. My dad. Whoa. How short was your hair? Edit. It was just a great comeback. My mom had long hair in the 80s, and if a guy had hair shorter than hers, she wasn't attracted to him. We all know she had long hair, so no feelings were hurt. No you. These two guys from London used to hang around in Bristol selling bootleg grime CDs and urban movies and had great banter with people as they walked by. They called themselves the Black Gypsies, and we'd often see what they had for sale. This group of girls walked by and one of the guys calls out to them, "Hi ladies." The group quickly steers away from these guys and one of the girls goes, "You." And without missing a beat he said, "What? You ain't ladies." Full stop. I died right there and so did they. Used to work in a bar that was pretty rowdy but had a brilliant atmosphere. Group of lads are pretty sloshed. One approaches the bar and asks for a pint and a blowjob. He looks back at his mates, thinking he's smart, until I reply, "The pint I can do, but if I needed a toothpick, I'd have gotten one from behind the bar." I swear I saw his ego die a little bit. So back when I was in junior high, wearing Aeropostale was a thing, but it was fading out of popularity. Me and a buddy were at Islands of Adventure in FL and we were waiting in line for the Dueling Dragons roller coaster. As we were next in line to get on the coaster, I heard somebody yelling from on the ride. I looked over and realized some security selling looking bros were yelling in our direction, so I yelled back, "What? Aeropostale sucks dick." I look over and realize my buddy is wearing an Aeropostale shirt. The ride then starts to exit the tunnel, and right as they passed us I yelled back, "Yeah. So does your boyfriend." They didn't like that. But we were gone by the time they came back.